in, to the 30, opportunities we've got scheduled, just in preparation for the opener and preparation for the season. Health is, has improved a little bit. We've got, Tyler Polly back, playing live with no restrictions. She's, one of 11 scholarship guys that we have that are, ready to go fully. And then you've got a Cook who's, getting closer, may even start doing, live 1-on-1, 3-on-3 in the next couple of weeks here. And then Brendan Adams, who should be returning shortly from a foot. So, we'll hopefully be at full strength at some point, in November, December from a health standpoint.
Thanks, Coach. Our first question is going to be from Dave Borges. Dave?
Dan, I guess in general, just your thoughts on being picked fourth in your return back to the Big East, and James being picked on the second team. Just general thoughts on those.
Yeah, I had no idea. I'm finding out from you, so I don't, the postseason stuff, the postseason order of finish, postseason awards, to me, are the only things that matter. I like where we're at, as a program going into the season. I think we've got a lot of momentum. We want to continue to build on that momentum as a program. And, there's, first team, second team, we have the highest expectations for, the type of season that James could put together. I think James is going to prove himself to be, potentially one of the best guards in the country this year.
Next, we'll go to Yanni Karakis.
Hey, Coach. How are you? Long time no see. Hope you're well.
What's up, Yanni?
Hate to bring this back to your old stomping ground so early in this, but as you know, the URI PC game won't happen this year. So I think a lot of folks who are invested in what you're doing and have fond memories of you in Rhode Island are looking forward to the 2 times. One already on the schedule, you're going to play Ed in Providence. What will it be like rekindling that rivalry with him and playing PC twice a year?
Yeah, it's a great, regional rivalry that's obviously going to have like highest level of intensity in those games. Providence has got, like a really incredibly passionate, fan base, and they're, and they know basketball. There's been some amazing coaches coached there, played there, and accomplished a lot as a program. And to compete against Ed is always, it's always great. It's always an honor to compete against, like a great coach, and then a great coach like Ed that's, had to earn it every step of his career, and has had to, and to be an assistant coach for a while before, he had to prove himself at the low to mid-major level as a head coach, and then earned the Providence thing, and he's turned it into a perennial NCAA program. So the Providence, Rhode Island, the Providence UConn thing for me is going to be a lot of fun. Some of the best years of my life in basketball happened when I was coaching in Rhode Island.
Next, we'll go to Pat Eaton-Rob from the AP.
Coach, can you just address what rejoining the Big East has already meant to the program, and what it means in terms of recruiting, and what it means in terms of getting you back to where you want this program to be?
Yeah, it's been incredible. The return to the Big East has been a really incredible infusion of energy. Just a real much needed jolt for the fan base, for the program, and just to create another level of excitement. We were well on our way to getting the level of talent in here back to the level it needed to be. You know, our first recruiting class, when there was no hint of the Big East, was, you know, James was Book Knight, Cook, and Jalen Gaffney and RJ Cole. And so we were already recruiting at a very high level, but it certainly has enhanced that. And, you know, just added to the excitement level surrounding us.
And can you address, having played in this conference, what is the difference? What does it mean to play a Big East game, and what is it like for a player, and how different is that from other places?
Yeah, I mean, for us, you know, the difference from where we've been the last couple of years is, you know, these guys, these games are like high profile, like everyone's watching Big East basketball. It's, you know, this is national stage games. This is absolutely no nights off, home or away. You know, you could lose any game because, you know, top to bottom, there's just no nights off in a conference like this. So, you know, the electricity on game night, every single night, all 20 games, you can't sleepwalk through a half.
We'll go to Dom Amore from The Current.
Hi, Dan. Good morning. You know, if the schedule goes off as scripted, you're going to have 5 Big East games before December 23rd, whereas normally you wouldn't really be playing a Big East game until the 30th or so. I'm just wondering, how does that change your mindset, your preparation going into the season, knowing that you're going to have those types of challenges so early?
Yeah, I would say that, you know, for us, we've tried to go live a lot more, just play a lot more 5-on-5, a lot more scrimmaging than we've ever done earlier, partially because of the, you know, the level of intense games that, you know, that we're going to be playing, but also because, you know, the season ended abruptly in March, and we weren't really able to get really going here until probably more like late August, September. So, you know, we're used to playing high level, you know, games. Last year, you know, we played Florida, we played Xavier, you know, we played Miami, we played Indiana, all kind of early, you know, before December 10th, before December 11th. We're just gonna play more of them. And you know, from a coach's standpoint, that's tough because you worry about your team over the long haul. But I know the good end of that is that you're going to have your players' full attention, because sometimes those you know, the low to mid-major games are hard to get the guys up for.
Next, we'll go to Mike DeCourcy.
Yes, Dan. I wanted to ask you about changing conferences at this point, just when you guys look like you're ready to take the step back to being the UConn that everybody knows. Then you have a whole new slate of opponents, totally different. All the, you know, the pre-scouting you were able to do when you were still in the American. Can you sort of describe all the extra work you had to do now because of changing conferences, and how much of it resembles taking over a new job?
Yeah. So, Mike, yeah, a lot there with that. It's a great question. Yeah, so we were able to, obviously, when we were locked in, you know, when we were, you know, sheltered in place during COVID, we were obviously able to, you know, study the end of our season, but really, you know, begin to, you know, break down the new Big East opponents. You know, we had felt like, obviously, ending the season, win our last 5 in a row and 9 of our last 11 or whatever it was. You know, we had felt like we were positioning ourselves to, both in the conference tournament going into next year in the AAC, to be, you know, potentially at the top of the league. You know, obviously, the COVID allowed us to, as a staff, you know, scout every Big East team, all 10 of our opponents, and during the shelter in place when the guys weren't on campus, we on our Zoom meetings, we did scouting report for every Big East team. And then obviously as a staff, we've continued that preparation through things we're doing in practice, shell defense, just different drills to prepare for Big East teams and the different styles we're going to face. I'll say this from playing Xavier and Villanova last year. It's just when we play programs like that, there's a lot more familiarity for us than there was for us with AAC opponents. Like when we're playing Villanova in the non-conference games, like our guys have played high school, the guys that we're recruiting, like they've played AAU basketball against guys that are at Villanova. They've played prep school. There's a high level of familiarity between our players and the players at Big East schools. Also, me as a coach, like I've always studied all the different guys that are currently coaching in the Big East and how they play. So, I mean, that's not going to be a big adjustment for us. The bigger adjustment was, probably playing in a league that didn't really suit, UConn.
Go to Charlotte Carroll from The Athletic.
Hey, Dan, hope you're doing good this morning. Kind of going back to the idea of scrimmaging and more 5-on-5, I just kind of want to know what you're seeing since you're trying to do more of that in practice. And then is it almost easier knowing that the schedule at Big East is starting sooner to get these guys going in the 5-on-5 and in the seriousness of that right now?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a very high level of intensity in the practices. Just bringing a lot of urgency. Usually you have signals that your first game is coming, like first night, Midnight Madness, some type of an event with the fan engagement that kind of signals, hey, this thing's going to get real. And obviously you don't have that type of signaling. So, we've got to create that, organically here in practice, that type of mentality. So we've raised our intensity level significantly. And just from going live, I see for us, like, we're going to have to make hard decisions on who's going to start, like, as opposed to maybe the last couple of years, just trying to find 5 guys to throw out there. We're going to have to make some hard decisions about, like what 5 guys are going to start games and what the rotation is going to be like, because we've got a lot of depth. We've got a number of good players.
Jeff Jacobs next.
Hi, Dan. I just wanted to ask you a little about COVID and how it'll affect the schedule. I know coaches and like to be in control of things. This is sort of the most uncontrollable thing going. And I was looking, and some of the coaches have talked a little about their discomfort with getting knocked out for 14 days if one player or one of the tier 1 people are positive, and perhaps playing in a bubble. I was just trying to find out how you keep sane during all this, and what do you think of some of that stuff?
Yeah, meditation. Listen, just for us, we within our ecosystem that we have in the facility here, and with coaches and players, just trying to keep it as clean as. Trying to keep it as safe and as clean as possible in terms of the decisions we make, to wear the mask and, to wash our hands and socially distance, and just be careful and smart, and try to, avoid getting it if possible, so that we don't, have to kind of, go into, the quarantine as a group. But I'm just trying to focus on preparing for the next practice, taking as good a care of everyone in the program as we can, great preparation, trying to just solidify the non-conference schedule once and for all, just stay locked in on recruiting. I'm just trying not to get caught up in, in things I can't control. That's medical people, that's above me at the university level. people have to be able to make those decisions. They're a lot smarter than me about what to do when somebody gets positive test.
Would you, as far as the 14-day thing, you guys are testing like every other day. Would you like to, be able to fast track that maybe to a week or 10 days if possible?
I want to do whatever is the, safest, for me. I do think you should be able to test out, the 14 day quarantine for one positive test in a group, seems like that's a little bit too long, and that you should be able to test your way out of it. But, again, like, I'm not a medical expert. We need to listen to the science and, and the doctors and trust those people.
Go to Joe D next.
Thanks, Bobby. Danny, with all the home games being played at Gamble this year, will it not be as big an advantage if you can't have big crowds in there?
Yeah, it definitely is. For me, just our home court situation is so unique. To have the on-campus 10,000 plus intimate fans on top of you, student section on top of you, on campus, kind of, rowdy, dome, like mini terror dome on campus here. And then to have the XL Center, more than NBA style, 17,000 plus, in there. And we saw what that could get like during the Memphis game. And, whenever we don't get a chance to play at home, it hurts. Hurts us because we've got one of the best fan bases in the country, and it's one of the hardest places to play.
Next, we'll go to Eric Dobratz. Eric?
Coach, you want your players to be mentally tough and show grit on the court. Just talk about a little bit how everything they're going through off the court is helping them, and just how proud you are of them and how they're dealing with all this.
Yeah, listen, the state of the country, everything that's going on in our community, socially, politically, from a health standpoint, so much has been thrown at these guys, so much information, and so much struggle and difficult situations that it's really obviously a tremendous time for them to really learn how to think, to understand what all the issues are that we're dealing with in the world, and then learn how to think, and then how to be compassionate and care about others, and be about community and family, and how to have compassion for other people. But when you go through everything that's going on for all of us right now, you develop a layer of toughness about you that will prepare you to deal with any type of struggle moving forward. So as tough as it is, tremendous strength will be drawn from this, both as individuals and us as communities and families and as a country.
Thanks. Next, we'll go to Gavin Keefe.
Good morning, Coach. A lot of expectations, obviously, are surrounding James Bouknight. So a little more pressure on him. How do you think he's equipped to handle that? Do you have to talk to him about it? Kind of how do you process that all?
Yeah, he's actually equipped perfectly for it. He's got a lot of alpha in him. He's got a tremendous amount of confidence in himself. James, he gets over mistakes quickly. Moves on to the next play very, very quickly. And he's practicing. He's practicing incredibly hard. He's in terms of pace and tempo and competitiveness. He's on the gold medal stand for us right now. He is dialed in, and looks just like a guy that understands the moment that he's in his career as a young player, and what this, what the type of year that he's primed to produce could do for him in his life and career. And he doesn't look like the moment is going to be too big for him. It looks like it's exactly what he's always wanted.
Do you have to worry at all about him putting too much pressure on himself because, maybe try to trying to do what he needs to do, or?
Well, this is sports. You're a head coach, you're a star player. You want to do it at this level. Sports is pressure. I mean, it's pressure on all of us. You got to perform. There's levels to this. If you want to get to the next level, you got to produce. You got to perform at a high level. So, if I've got to shelter these guys, or if I need to be sheltered from pressure, we're in the wrong business, so we got to go do something else, because sports is not the place to try to shelter guys from stuff.
We'll go to Jorge Eckhart from the Daily Campus.
Hey, Coach. I just wanted to know your thoughts on playing in a bubble, the potential playing in a bubble this season, and if the student athletes would really still be able to fully be students if a bubble happens.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to take me down the rabbit's hole on bubbles here, which not sure if I want to go to. Listen, the student athletes, so many classes are virtual online right now that there's so few in-person classes that these guys are in that, and we obviously travel with our academic support staff is with us to conduct study hall and to prepare these guys, for academic success. That I don't see if we're telling these guys you can't do anything socially on campus and to stay away from large groups, and these guys are hardly in-person classes anyway, I don't see the problem with the bubble. And these guys missing classes that aren't meeting. And then the second part, for me, my thing would be like, do a little mini bubble with rapid testing every couple weeks, maybe every 2 weeks, where you bring maybe 4 teams in, and you try to knock out, 3 games in 5 days and go back to campus for 10 days and then go back into the bubble for, maybe a shorter period of time and try to knock out 3 or 4 games. Going in for, a month to play a bunch of games, to me is going to could become a very unhealthy environment. So I'm more like a mini bubble person, but I appreciate you sending me down that rabbit's hole.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go to Jerry Carino. Jerry?
Dan, as a Jersey guy, as a Seton Hall grad, have you given any thought to what it's going to be like for you to play your alma mater twice a year and to come home and play them in your backyard of your old stomping grounds?
Yes, definitely, absolutely. Jerry, when we played Seton Hall twice when I was at Rhode Island, and for me, I'm an emotional, person. Going into those games, your Seton Hall's a place that's meant, a lot to me. And I met my wife there, Andrea, my oldest son. He's going to graduate. Danny is going to graduate from there this year. Having grown up in Jersey City and having played there, and gone from like an immature kid going into Seton Hall and leaving there, a young man that that was somebody that I was proud of going out the door. And then obviously St. Benedict's was where, Newark, New Jersey holds, and St. Benedict's holds, a huge place in my heart. It's where I learned how to be a leader, how to be a head coach. St. Benedict's is a special place. Newark is it was an honor to work in that community, and coaching right down the street from a community and school that means so much to you. I'll be like spending quite a bit of time, day of the game, day before the game, just thinking about the journey, reflecting, on how full circle life comes.
Thanks, Dan.
You got it, Jerry.
Go to Adam Zagoria.
Dan, how we doing, buddy?
What's up, man? Bad Frisbee weather, right? Bad.
Tough to play ultimate or tennis.
Ultimate, yeah.
We'll have to play indoors. Just to follow on Jerry's Seton Hall question there, most of your fellow coaches have said UConn's going to add a lot to the league and make it more competitive. This is what your buddy Kevin Willard said today on UConn joining the league. Well, it sucks for us. I didn't vote for it. I voted against it. I'm still not really happy about it. He did say you guys will help make the league stronger overall. I need you to help me sell some papers in New Jersey and respond to Kevin there. Please.
All right. Yeah. Listen. I don't. That logic. It doesn't make. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But again, I'm not the coach at Seton Hall. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I don't.
Do you think some teams in the league, stand to benefit, less or get hurt by your guys' return to the league, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're all competitive. I just think that, that the stronger that your conference is, Seton Hall, under Kevin has had, incredible success of NCAA tournament appearances, playing at the top of the Big East. I don't think any of that's going to change. I think that, UConn is going to add one of the most passionate fan bases, in the country, a program in the last 20 years. Obviously the last couple of years haven't been kind to us, but you're adding a recent tradition in the last 20 years, which is top 5 in the country in terms of national championships and producing lottery picks and first round picks. I see UConn doing nothing but enhancing the league, making, adding more as we've gotten our act together, and as hopefully we become a perennial top 20, top 15, top 10 program consistently every year. We're going to be adding an element of excitement to the conference, that will allow it to stand up to the ACC and the Big Ten and the SEC and the Big 12. That's who we're competing with as a conference, in terms of just how powerful the league is. We want to obviously be considered the best basketball conference in the country. So logically, it would make sense to be excited about, a program of UConn's brand coming back in.
Time for one more. We'll go to Dave Borges.
Thanks.
Yeah, Dan, just I think you guys have had most of the team on campus since what, June or maybe July? Is that fair to say? And do you feel like, 'cause obviously some schools kind of haven't really even been able to, didn't start working out till like late August, September, and they've had some stops and starts, and obviously Marquette now. How much of maybe an advantage is that for you guys? A little bit of a leg up on some of the other teams in the league?
I would just say this, we weren't able to, because of the restrictions that were on size of group workouts, amount of basketballs that could be used, how close we could get to the action. There was no advantage gained during the summer from a playing standpoint, from a workout standpoint. Dave Benedict and Rochelle Rubin and the folks at the university working hard for our student athletes to be able to get back on campus safely in our pilot program. getting our guys back on campus in the summer, I thought was really good for our players' mental health. I think it was really good for them emotionally. And then obviously physically, to be able to get in the weight room with the strength coach and kind of rehab some injuries and stuff. I think the university this summer, again led by Dave and Rochelle and people at the university level here, did an amazing job for our players to get our players back on campus. But there was no competitive advantage gained. We haven't been able to do much in terms of actually working towards how we want to play and what we want to do really until September.